Hi and welcome to Meste Films Production. I am Bianlix Meste and I'll be your host for today. As you all know, our show is about acting and our goals as actors and learning a little bit about our career. But today we're having a special edition. We're going to be talking about lymphedema and what it is and what you could do to prevent it. A lot of people don't know about this disease and the cause of it. Basically what it is, and let me explain a little bit here. A lot of women, as you all know, in this time are getting a lot of breast cancer. After going through such a hard time with breast cancer, the disease, as I call it, the tsunami. Your life is perfect, you're all happy, and all of a sudden this big tsunami comes when they tell you that you have breast cancer. Now you're a survivor. You did it. You're done. And you feel a new life is going to start, except that's when the lymphedema comes in. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. But what exactly is that a lot of doctors, a lot of physicians, and I have done a lot of research, are not really medical professionals, know the precautions. They don't know the precautions that you have to take to prevent this. I have two very special guests that are survivors. First one I'm very touched is my mother, Vivian Messe, that she was touched by breast cancer 2 years ago, and she's a survivor for 2 years. And then I have Marge Fulan.
Yes.
Did I say right? Okay. And she's also a survivor for 12 years now.
Yes.
And let's start talking a little bit about this, because a lot of people don't know a lot about this disease and how it starts. And unfortunately, there's no cure. I mean, you're going to have to live with this forever. So tell me, Marge, a little bit about you. When did you were diagnosed with breast cancer?
In 1997.
Okay.
And then I had my surgery in 98 early. And I did well. I can't complain. I had the chemotherapy for 4 sessions, and then I had radiation for 37.
Okay.
And everything went well for 12 years, or 11 really. And then one day I went to visit my grandchildren in Florida.
Okay.
And the whole family was there, and we went bowling. And I bowled. And 2 days later, I got on an airplane and flew back to Virginia. And I noticed that my arm started swelling a little bit, not a lot. And I went to my doctor, my oncologist, and I told him, I said, "Do you think I have a problem?" Went for my yearly checkup. And he said, "I don't think it is. There's not that much there," which I don't think they know enough about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just something that they don't tell you about. So I ended up going back 2 weeks later, and it was worse. And they said, "Yeah, you have lymphedema." So I had to find a therapist, which was not easy at all.
Let me interrupt you there for just a second, because I want to tell you guys what it is. Okay, lymphedema is involved swelling of the soft tissue of the hand and arm. The swelling may occur by numbness, discomfort, and sometimes infection, which infections are very dangerous when you have this, because you could even lose your arm with this disease. So go ahead.
Right. And I had to go to a therapist, and I couldn't find one living in Woodbridge. Nobody had it around here. Nobody did that. They did occupational therapy, but not lymphedema therapy.
You have to be very careful.
Right. You don't want to go to the wrong person.
Mm-hmm. Not just any physical therapist. It has to be a specialist.
Right. It has to be a lymphedema specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up going up to Alexandria and Nova, yeah. And I went, that was last year, with the same time as this, I went, and I had a great therapist, and I did really well. And I did what I was supposed to do for quite a while. And then all of a sudden I decided, well, it's not so bad. And then I let it kind of go, and
you didn't do it.
I had some more problems. And now, as you can see, I'm bandaged again because I'm back in therapy. And we're trying to get it down to...
And we'll explain a little bit more about the bandage and all that in a little bit further. How about you, Vivian, Mom? How did yours start? What did you do to activate?
Well, basically, I was diagnosed in 2008, and I went through my chemotherapy, and I went through radiation. I did notice that every time that I would go through the radiation and see my doctor in my doctor's appointment, she would look at me and ask me if I was swollen, but I never paid any attention because basically I didn't know what she was looking for. So I would say, no, I'm not swollen. So I thought everything, that was a really good thing, that it wasn't swollen. Why? I didn't know why. So on Mother's Day, a year and a half ago, I was playing tennis with my husband, and I didn't know that I couldn't do repetitions. So I did have a lot of fun that day, but the next day my arm was swollen. So after that, I went to see my oncologist, and he referred me to a specialist, and I was diagnosed with lymphedema.
Okay. Did they ever tell you not to do something to avoid this? Any of the doctors you saw?
Not me. Never.
Never.
The only thing I was told is if I garden to wear gloves.
Okay, so here are the do's and don'ts. If you are a breast cancer survivor, or if you're even going through the breast cancer and through your treatment, there's always hope. You will be a survivor. So you need to know this stuff. So do moisturize your skin frequently and regularly. The reason we do this is because your skin is kind of like a shell to protect you from getting any infections, which is really not good. Do not keep your hands and do keep your arms extra clean. Use Dove is the best soap for this. Do use rubber gloves when you do washing dishes. I mean, for us women, we do that like every day. You cannot get cut at all with any knife or anything like that. Do wear protective glove when you do gardening. That's the only thing they tell you. To take more frequent rest breaks when you're mopping, cleaning, and while doing repetitive activity. Do wear oven mittens when handling hot food because you cannot get burned. Do use an electric razor. Do apply antibiotic ointment if you get bitten by a spider or a mosquito, because you cannot get bitten.
Right.
So summer's got to be hard for you guys. Do protect your arm from sunburns. Do rest your arm in an elevated position. Right. Can you guys tell me like how that goes?
When I sleep with my arm up on pillows. And you have to bandage your arm at night often, or else you can buy a sleeve that you can sleep in.
Okay.
But I do sleep, I just automatically put my arm up on a pillow and elevate it.
Yep. If I'm watching TV, I'll basically just have my arm elevated.
And the most important one, and this is it, this is something very important and you're never told. Do not take your blood pressure in your arm that is affected by it. Do not get blood work done in your arm. If you have both, unfortunately, arms, let them do your legs to get your blood work. And then do wear compression baggage or a compression sleeve. Now, we got to talk about this.
That's right.
This is the bandage that you have that they put on when you go to the therapist.
Right.
What is the purpose of it?
It's to compress it and to try to move the fluid back up into your lymph nodes, and you do massaging too.
Because your body naturally does it. We don't know this. It's just naturally doing it.
Yeah, right, until you have this, and then these shut down. So they do massage you, and you try to move it up, and then you put compression on it, and it starts down here, and then you keep going up so that, as you can see, I mean, my arm is not this big normally.
Okay.
And I'm going to be, I've gotten fitted for a new sleeve, which I hope I get before Thanksgiving. But I'm looking forward to having that, because anything is better than this. I have 4 outfits right now that I can wear, 4 tops, and that's it.
Only 4 tops.
Right.
Because your arm's so
yeah. Well, you can see I
swollen,
can't get into
fits.
anything. Right.
Okay. And right now I'm going to be showing you some pictures of my mom wearing her sleeve, and also of the machine that you could get yourself. They're around $5,000 to $600, but your insurance covers it. They just don't tell you that. So you keep going to the therapist and you keep using their service, but you could do it at home if you don't have that ability to go to a physical therapist, or if it's hard for you to find someone that is qualified for this type of therapy. Now, I have mentioned, like, I don't know, 15 dues, and you only got 1. You never got even 1 from your doctor.
I did get the blood and the I knew that right from day one.
I knew that I couldn't do lifting. That I did.
The lifting.
The lifting.
Okay, well, that's the don't.
No more. That's a don't.
And here are the don'ts.
Oh, okay.
Don't take unusually hot bath or showers, which I love. That would be so hard for me to do. Don't go for extreme hot or cold wet water temperature when you bathe or wash dishes. I mean, sometimes you just do that so automatically. Don't go into high heat hot tubs, so no sauna, steam bath. Don't apply heating pads. Don't carry heavy objects, like, I don't know, like a milk, grocery.
Or groceries up the stairs.
I mean, normal things that we
Your
do every day.
grandchildren, you pick them up.
Don't wear heavy shoulder bag.
Right.
Don't wear clothing that has tight sleeves or that remains movement. That's exactly the problem you have with your clothes, because it's tight and you can't have it tight.
No elastic.
No
either.
elastic. Don't wear your watch or any jewelry in that arm. Don't use heavy, breast prostate after
Mastectomy.
Help me out. How does
Mastectomy.
mastectomy? So when they take your breast away, you even have to worry about that. I mean, and there's a lot more. Don't smoke. Don't drink much alcohol. Don't get manicures, which for us that's hard, because don't permit the blood pressure and don't permit the skin of yours at risk for any like injection, blood work. Not blood work. Okay. So basically, your life changes.
Yes, it does.
It does.
It definitely changes. Your clothing, you have to get bigger clothing for every other part of your body so it fits on your arm. And nowadays too, I don't know, but when I have my sleeve on, so many new clothes are 3/4, and I do not want that sleeve sticking out with the glove on, because you wear a glove or you wear a gauntlet.
How well we look like.
Right.
We do.
Yeah.
It's also very frustrating when after you go through the manual therapy drainage, they show you how to do it manually at home and take the fluid out of your arm. It's very frustrating when you see that the swelling and the fluid comes down towards your stomach, and well, for us, seeing our belly kind of bloated is
very uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
All right. And the machine that we're actually going to show you the picture that I had spoke about is the manual lymphatic drainage. That's actually not the machine, but
it's a pump.
The pump.
It's a pump, right?
It's a pump.
Okay.
It starts down here, right? It just works its way up.
And how do they do the treatment, Mom? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, basically, if it's the manual, they'll start giving you massage starting from the area of your axilla and preparing the fluid, so you keep on pushing up the fluid. That's the manual one, where you go through the therapist. Some places they do use the pump. I haven't never been in. I think Marsha has been in a place where they use the pump.
Okay.
But then I knew about it, and I spoke with my oncologist, and he gave me the prescription. So that's a personal one at home. You put your arm in, and it starts pumping all your fluid from your hand up.
And you could do it while watching TV. You have to do 1 hour a day. No, one in the morning and one at night.
2 hours a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And you could notice the difference. You do see the fluid coming back towards your body.
Okay. I did some research, and in 2002, 9 million women have been touched with breast cancer, and 1.6 million are dealing with this. For me, this is a very personal issue. I have been touched because of my mother having this. My sister is also a survivor of breast cancer. And now my dear friend here, Marge. It's hard. And I do get upset because I feel the disease itself is kind of destructive at first. It takes, your hair, who you are a little bit. And then to deal with this afterwards. So please educate yourself. Do not count on your physician to tell you everything. Go into the internet, even though there's so scary sites out there. Look for what's beneficial for you. What will help you to become a survivor for the rest of your life. I want to thank Marge and my mom, Vivian, for coming. And I hope that if you're going through this, know that it is a scary stage, but you will get through it with the grace of God and with the help of your doctors and your friends and your family. You will become a survivor. Have a good night, and this is Alex from SA Films Production. Educate your